February, time for another update. Lots of little things to show you. I've got some shelf queens to talk about. I've got a couple of the group builds to talk about. Some of the Motti entries I've started on. I think that's it. We'll just go through my various bits and pieces and I'll break it down into sections and we'll see how this video pans out. So the shelf queens build is going pretty good, or group, whatever you want to call it. I've already completed the Enterprise C, which I put photos up on the HLI community. Before the actual group was announced, I did finish, and I also posted pictures of the Enterprise B here. Got that flat coated and based up, so there's that. So that's two shelf queens down. What else? The Voyager. Let me just put you down there. Voyager's very nearly done. It's just a few of those teeny tiny decals. Here she is. So again, doesn't look all that different from last time I showed her off. There's a few bits and pieces still to do. It's all these teeny tiny little decals which I've been putting in random places rather than trying to follow the instructions, because the instructions are so cluttered you can't see which number's which. But there's probably only about half a dozen left that I want to do. There's probably some I can't be bothered with. And then flat coat and base that, and then she's done. So realistically, next week after. The other shelf queen that's near completion is the USS Constellation. Getting close to the camera there. The Constellation, which is the Revell TOS Enterprise. That needs a little bit more weathering. There's another Revell Enterprise. This is the one that I have smoothed out, removed the grid lines. They're inscribed, and I'm using the green strawberry photo etch. I've got to build the shuttle bay. I've built that's the bridge. It's absolutely tiny. Need to continue to paint that. It's absolutely minuscule. Can I get that to focus on that? Absolutely teeny tiny little thing. Yeah. So the bridge is done. Started on the hangar bay. Again, not exactly big, but that's the beginnings of the hangar bay. That's going to take a little bit longer because I want to make that look good, and I've got the shuttles to go with it. Is it 1/600 scale? I think it's that. Yeah, the green strawberry kits, amazing stuff. The other shelf queen is the long suffering project of the USS Okinawa, which is the Excelsior refit ship. Again, there's some PE coming for that from Green Strawberry, the Enterprise B stuff. They haven't actually released it yet. I think that's it for the shelf queens. I don't want to grab them and show them because you've seen them all before. It's just, you know, I'll get around to them. The Voyager's pretty much done. The Constellation is pretty much done, but I'm not in a rush to finish that. The Okinawa's been on hold for so long now that it'll probably be on hold for at least another year. So that's those. What else have we got? Batman. So this is a kit that you don't see very often, or at least I haven't seen it very often. The Revell Batmobile from Batman and Robin, that bloody awful, atrocious film, which often is cited as being the death of superhero films. Read into that what you will. But George Clooney, wow, he should never have been Batman. But this kit is not particularly easy to find, and when you do find it, at least when I find it on eBay, it's silly money. I found one going in the UK for next to nothing. I won the auction mainly because it's missing the axles, but I'm not worried about that at all. So let's have a quick look inside. Lots and lots of bubble wrap. Lots and lots of bubble wrap. Here's all the pieces. So this is a kit that I'm going to take my time over. I want to light it. Comes with all kinds of chrome pieces, as you can see. Lots of shiny bat bits, wheels, all sorts of funny spiky things that go on the front. This car is actually really long. It's 1/25th scale. I mean, that's just part of the main chassis. It's really long. It's a really nice design. I think this car gets overlooked because of the slightly dodgy film it's in, or the bad reputation that film's got. but a lot of the designs of the vehicles and suits and things in Batman and Robin are really, really good. If you can get past just how cheesy it is, it's worth watching just from a visual point of view. It is an absolutely stunning film to look at. One of the things I love, the rubber tyres have actually got the Batman logo etched into them. Really nice. It's got some decals for some reason. That's for the turbine that sits in the front. I don't think I'll be using those. And there's all the various bits of the kit. It actually comes with a funky looking Batman to assemble. I don't know if I'll be using him. That's the rear part. So the wings will sit up here. These little sections here will need to be drilled out. Those I think should have a blue light behind them, so they'll be drilled out removers, and I'll probably put a mesh behind that of some description. There's going to be lots of blue and red LEDs all over this. There's the bottom chassis. Look how long that is. It's crazy. But the detail on this is really nice. It's not going to be too difficult to light. There's enough space inside. One of the things I need to figure out, so what it will have this sort of turbine in there, I'm not worried about, but you see these kind of slits here. The actual car itself, it's sort of inside the sort of channels, I suppose you call it, were long strips of blue light. I'm wondering, I've never used it before, I want to know if I can use that side illuminating fibre optic strip. Maybe if I can find some and try it out, I might be able to fit that in to have the edges of these sort of cutouts lit up in blue. Otherwise I might just leave it as is. I don't particularly want to drill holes in that part. But there's that. I'm not in any rush to do this. I think I've got till the end of the year to do it. I need to double check the date on the group build. But I'm absolutely thrilled to have this kit. I have got the Batman Forever kit as well over on the stash. That I haven't started. That one, I think that's my favourite of all the Batmobiles. This is probably a close second. That one I want to light as well, but that one I wanted to figure out if I could recast the wheels, because they're supposed to be illuminated, and of course the wheels in the kit are solid pieces. Yeah, well there's that, and that will at some point start getting work done, and that will appear in the group build on the HLI community, so one to look out for. Okay, so the Be a Kid Again group build, which is a really nice idea. I really like it. The whole concept of out-of-the-box builds is definitely something that appeals to me because, like most of us, don't tend to finish things. We seem to get bogged down in, you know, aftermarket parts and lighting and decals or decals, whatever you want to call them, paint jobs and accuratizing and all that stuff, and models end up just sitting there, you know, half done, 90% done, whatever. So doing the whole out-of-the-box, build it like it was back in the day, great idea. When did I start modelling? That's a good question. For the longest time I was, still am, wargamer, miniature war games, mostly Games Workshop stuff, so I was always painting, modelling from that point of view. But model kits as we know them, I'm not sure when I started. I want to say I was in my early teens, early 90s. There was a shop I fondly remember in Brighton, just a standard model shop, and it had all the stuff. It had all the Star Trek kits, the AMT ones. It had so many sci-fi kits because you could get kits for everything then. Remote control, radio control cars and boats. It was a mecca. It was a beautiful place, and I always used to go in there lusting after the Excelsior kit, which I never got at the time. I can't remember what my first build was in this sort of scale, in this sort of style. It was one of a number of things. I think I must have gone mad and gotten into modelling this way when I don't know what I first got. It was either the Aliens APC from Halcyon, which I've still got and needs refurbishing. I had the Enterprise E, the first Contact one, which was the first one. I think the Enterprise C and the Enterprise B all came out in fairly quick succession, and of course once the Enterprise B came out you couldn't get the Excelsior kit anymore, which is why I didn't get that until years later. I found one on eBay for a stupid price. What else? The other thing I would have built, and I remember building, is this kit here. This monstrosity. The 3-piece kit. 2500 scale. It says there, but I don't remember it advertising that. The Enterprise D, the TOS, and there it's the Enterprise A, or refit. This is a beaten up, battered thing I got off of eBay, and I chose this one because I fondly remember doing it, and it's the one I could get cheapest because the Enterprise E, particularly the first contact version, is going for silly money. That thing must be properly out of print at the moment. And I've just done a C, and I've just done a B, so I don't need more of those. So have a look at this. This just arrived in the post today. Lots of plastic nonsense. Lots and lots of plastic nonsense. What's in this bag? This is kind of fun, like a crazy unboxing. Oh, wow. Bits of the stand. This is one of the things I remember about this, the crazy big stand. All sorts of wiggly things. Here we've got, that's the refit, and it's got the grid lines on it. What I do remember of this kit is that the pylons did not glue on very well at all. And of course this has been repot multiple times in different 2500 scale box sets. There's that. More packing materials. Here I think there's bits of the D by the looks of it. Again, this has been repot multiple times. There's part of the Enterprise D. There's the TOS. Again, it's got the raised lines on it. Oh, it's got some awful raised detail windows. Don't think you can see that on there. End caps, nacelles. Little Star Trek badge thing for going on the base. Again, I seem to remember that the nacelles and pylon assembly was pretty bad. There's the other part of the engineering hull, the D. There's the deflector dish. So, and here is the Enterprise D saucer. Really huge. Look at the state of that. Look at that. Wow. Wow. And here's the other half of the saucer. There's that. So those three ships, which take all about 5 minutes to build, but of course I'm going to sand them down and build them and make them look half decent. Oh, look, here's the pièce de résistance, the base, the display base. You stick those things on. Look at that. That's a lovely thing. That's really quite nice. That in itself would be quite a nice little paint job and build. What have we got here? We've got the instructions. Oh, there's different bits. Oh wow, look, it's got Enterprise paint specifications for the three of them. Let's see what it says. Paints you will need, blah 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 blah. So the 1701, the TOS, paint the entire craft semi-gloss white. So semi-gloss white for the original Enterprise. And then you've got random blue-grey bits, red-orange for the facades. It's got yellow for the deflector dish, funnily enough. Black rings behind it? I don't think that's right. Wow. What does it say for the other ships? The Enterprise D, paint the entire craft light grey as detailed. And then it calls out various things. It's got brown on the impulse, yellow there. I suppose that's about right. Grey, light blue, red. Really detailed. Red, orange for the deflector. Look, this is what we had to work with. How different things are now. What does it say for the refit? Semi-gloss white. So the same colour as the TOS, interestingly enough. Random bits of dark blue on the nacelles that makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Here's the actual instruction sheet. I've got a bunch of these old instruction sheets. I quite like them. Oh, that fell out. That's nice. It opens up into this glorious big thing. Open. Look at that. That's a stunner. Main hull assembly. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, if you can call it that. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Yeah, literally it's 5 minutes work. If that. It's amazing, isn't it? It's beautiful. And there's, oh, what have we got in here? Oh, cool. It's actually got a little blurb of a bit of history of each of the ships. Copyright 1988. Okay, so this box set came in 88. I don't remember when I got it, but I definitely had this exact kit. It might have been that early. I definitely remember doing it at quite an early age because I remember having the remains of these two ships just in amongst bits of broken old Warhammer models and things that I found ages ago. Yeah, there's that. Oh, the decal sheet. Where's that? This wonderful thing. God, look at the quality. Look at the state of that. That's amazing. That's all the decals we got there. Nicely yellowed. I've actually got multiples of these from various other kits and eBay finds. So if these ones don't perform particularly well, I've got replacements for these of this exact sheet, probably about 4 of them. Wow, that's properly gone peculiar. I just realised that the actual lettering for the NCC 1701D is in dark blue, whereas it's black for the others. I don't know how accurate that is. Is that going to come up on there? Probably not. So obviously it's going straight out the box build, so I can't do any Aztecing or any decals or anything, which means that one of the defining features of the Enterprise D, being its large Aztec patterns, and all those windows, there's not going to be any of that. It's just going to be a flat single colour with a few bits and pieces, which makes things an awful lot easier. So this will probably end up being a kind of a blue-grey. The refit will be just a pearlised white, and the TOS just some kind of generic grey. But there's all that bunch of plastic. It's not going to take too long to put together. So over the next few weeks we'll probably have a couple of videos and some photos and posts on the HLI community of me putting that together. Quite fun actually, little thing. It might drive me mad if I really try and get into sanding and finishing it, making it look good. I want to make it look half decent. But the amount of raised detail on the refit in particular is ridiculous. And it's just quite bad and inaccurate, but whatever. Still, that's going to be fun. So that's the Enterprise 3-piece set for the Be a Kid Again build. So rather than let this video get crazy long, I'm going to leave it there. I'll talk about the Motti entries in another vid, probably in a week or two. Particularly the JJ prize, the Into Darkness Reveal Enterprise. I've already started some work on that, the lighting kit in particular, which was nowhere near as difficult to construct as I thought it was going to be. However, one of the issues I've already run into is that some of the parts, particularly the secondary hull of the Revel JJ prize, is not badly but reasonably warped where the pylons are, so I'm probably going to have to attack that with a heat gun or hairdryer really, just to make sure it's going to fit nicely. And I still need to figure out whether I'm going to find somehow I think it was the A Creation wallpaper decals, or go for paint masks, probably from Aztec Dummy. I know Orbital Dry Dock do them as well, but the Aztec Dummy ones seem to be easy to get hold of. So I need to figure out how to paint it, because this is going to be a kit that I think I'm probably going to have to paint it before I construct it, just because of the way it's put together and the way the lighting kit works. Again, I'll fiddle with that and do a separate video. So I'm going to leave that there. There's a little update of what's going on, and in the near future look out for Shelf Queens getting finished, particularly the Voyager, work on the 3 Enterprise set for the Be a Kid Again group build, all kinds of stuff. I'm really pleased to have got the Shelf Queens finished in the past couple of weeks rather. Let's see if I can get another one finished by the end of February and then another one in March. Who knows? Get one done a month, is that possible? That might be a little bit too much. We'll see. Anyway, thanks again. See you on the HLI community, and take care.